All right, today's a really special day for me. I just crossed 1,000 YouTube subscribers, and it's been 6 years in the making. Now that might not sound like a lot to a lot of you. There's people who have hundreds of thousands, millions, but to me, every single one of those subscribers means the world to me, and it means that I never gave up. Now, 6 years ago, when I was working a 9-to-5 job that I absolutely hated in the pensions department of the federal government of Canada, I never knew that, you could make a career out of making content. I mean, I've seen the Mr. Beasts and all these crazy people who do insane videos and stuff, but I never thought that I could be a creator that makes millions of dollars by putting out content. And I have done that over the last 6 years. I've not only gone all in and started my own show, It's Not That Deep, which I just celebrated 6 years of recording, and over 100 episodes I've recorded, but I quit my job. I went all in on my digital marketing agency with my business partner, Jamie. And yeah, we've done well over $2.5 million in sales over those past few years. I've gotten to travel the world. I've gotten to make incredible connections. And all that is because I made the decision to put out content. When I was sitting in my attic apartment in 2019 and all my friends told me, dude, you need to have some kind of show, you need to make some kind of podcast or YouTube channel or something, I thought they were just bullshitting. I don't need to do all that. But I listened, I started the show, and I'm really, really proud that I did, and that I never gave up, and that I never will give up. So this 1,000 subscribers signifies to me that I'm really proud of myself that I kept going, but it also tells me that I want to keep going, right? And so that's why I'm making this video today, because recently, the past few months, I decided to take my podcast a lot more seriously. While running a business the last 4.5, almost 5 years, I've had to put the podcast on the back burner a few times. There's been years where I didn't even put out 15 episodes. There's been times when the last thing I wanted to do was create. I was just so focused on the business, making money, and surviving, quite frankly. But that's all changed a few months ago when I've decided to go pro. And that's what this whole video is about. I have decided to go professional with this show, with this brand, with It's Not That Deep, with everything in my life. Now, what does that mean, going pro? Well, one of the people that I look up to, Dan Martell, he talked about putting out YouTube videos for 10 years. And only in the last couple years has he really blown up. And he put a video out every single week, no matter what. And the thing that changed in those 8 years that nothing performed, and the last 2 where now he's, kind of on a level of Hormozy or Gary Vee or something like that. He actually talked about this at this book signing that I went to, and he said he decided to go pro. Actually make this a professional endeavor. This is not a little side hobby, something I'm just doing for fun. And that's what I've done. I've decided now to go pro. What does that exactly mean? Well, for my podcast, It's Not That Deep, I've put out 100 episodes, and why do I only have 1,000 subscribers? I'm very grateful for it, but why have I not gone to that next level yet? And I think I know why. It's because my show doesn't have a strong promise or outcome at the end of every episode. And so I have decided to change that and do something about that. And so the common thread between all of my episodes that I now want to put out into the universe for every single show that I have is the concept of simplifying success. What It's Not That Deep means to me is, hey, look, we all have our own definition of what success is, but what is that to you? And you being the guest or the listener, whatever. And how can, let's talk about that. Let's actually figure out, what is success for you and what is the common threads amongst people who are successful. And that's what I've been doing. I've been talking to people who are outliers, people who, are crushing it in business, in sports, in art, in entertainment, and culture, right? And I'm inspired and I'm interested in learning from their story. And I just kind of selfishly have an open conversation with them. But now what needs to happen is I need to make it more focused. And I need every person who takes the time to listen to one of my episodes want to listen to more episodes. So I need to have a common thread amongst the episodes. And that's what I want to do. And this is the theory that I think the episodes are going to be all about, is simplifying success. It's really not that deep. It's not easy, but it is simple. We overcomplicate it. It's not that deep. The next part of going pro is I'm also going to keep the conversations a little bit more focused so people know what they're getting in every episode. But I don't want to lose my, ability to have people open up and have an open, cool conversation with me. I never want to lose that. That's pretty much all I got. That's who I am as a person. That's how I like to talk and communicate with people. And that's how I learn, just by talking. But there needs to be a little bit more structure. And that's what you're going to start to see from It's Not That Deep episodes. The next thing is we're going to be totally rebranding the show. Now, don't worry, I'm keeping the name because that's a hit with people. Everyone loves the name, It's Not That Deep, and it means different things to different people. Get your mind out of the gutter, by the way. But we are going to make the logo more refreshed. I've changed a lot in appearance and just as a person over the years, so I think it's time to refresh the logo that I made for $20 on Fiverr back in 2019. I'm also investing in getting the branding completely redone, and that means really taking care of thumbnails, covers, having better and more consistent fonts and the logo being placed everywhere. All that sort of thing is going to be really, really important moving forward. As I try to get bigger and bigger name guests, the show just needs to appear more professional and consistent. One of the next things I'm going to do as well is, actually it starts off with a little bit of a rant here, but I think podcasts as a whole are changing. When I started, podcasts used to be this thing that you would just listen to on your way to work or while you're working out or something like that. But I see ever since COVID, consumer behavior and how people really consume podcasts is not only just listening to them, but also watching them. So I think that podcasts are becoming more like shows. Think of it like a TV show. You need to know what you're watching every time you go and watch a TV show. It's the same exact principle with podcasts. I think the word podcast is slowly going to disappear, and it's going to be more about it being a show. And that's why all of my focus is now going to go on YouTube. Now, you're still going to be able to listen to the show anywhere you listen to podcasts, whether it be Spotify, Apple, or wherever you listen to podcasts. But to me, the main focus has to be YouTube, because I'm not Joe Rogan. I'm not a celebrity. Millions of people don't know me yet. So I need to leverage the YouTube algorithm to help me with that, to help me get discovered. And because of that, I need to treat this more like a show. And that means investing more in my production quality, which you can see in studios like this. Shout out to Nemo here in Medellin, Colombia, with the Zone Podcast Studio. But investing in making the thing look better and be higher quality. Because if I'm getting high-tier, top-tier guests, they're going to want to see a top-tier product. Now, the next part of this equation is also distribution, and it goes hand in hand with my previous point. Distribution is the name of the game for these types of podcasts. When I have a guest on my show, it's really important that we cross-pollinate and cross-post the mini bits of content that my team and my company actually chop up. We do a really good job of finding the best bits out of a podcast, posting them across all the social media platforms, and then making sure that the guest shares it on theirs as well. It's kind of a win-win scenario. They get really high-quality clips, and I get access to their audience. And then finally, having a very clear goal with the show. Now, I always treated this show as just a way to document my journey, and I always say that, when I'm 80 or something, and if I have great grandchildren and they ask me, hey, what were you doing when you were like 27? I'll be like, go to YouTube and go check out that video. That's where I was at. I love the idea of documenting my journey. I love the idea of having the podcast run parallel to everything that I'm doing in life. However, that's not enough. In order to go pro, I need to have a very clear goal for the show itself. And before, what I was talking about with podcasts and the direction that they're going into with them being more like shows, I'm also seeing that's where the money's going. Companies like Hulu, Netflix, YouTube, Spotify are all investing millions of dollars in exclusivity deals with creators. Now, so far, it's just with a lot of really big creators, but I see the trend going towards smaller micro influencers and smaller creators as well. Although I do want to be one of those big creators one day, right now I believe that I am one of the smaller ones. However, I do think that a lot of money will be thrown towards those types of exclusivity deals. And as long as I get to continue to own my show, which I always want to own my show, I'm happy to sell the distribution rights. And so I'm going to put it out there right now that I want to do a deal for $20 million for exclusivity for the rights to distribute my show. So I'm talking to you, Netflix, Hulu, or whoever. You know, if you want to holler at me and get in early, we can talk. Now, that's just some of the stuff that I'm thinking of doing right now to improve my podcast, but then there's other logistical things. I've built a whole podcast system for how we are going to come up with the thumbnails, the titles, how everything's going to walk through the assembly line of the actual content production system, from booking guests to actually filming the content, to getting it edited, to getting it distributed, and then promoting it everywhere. It takes a whole team, and I'm grateful that I have that team now, and we're investing in making that system work really well, not just for me, but for our clients as well. So those are just some of the things that I'm doing to go pro, and I'm happy to share this with you guys. I'm really, really excited about this direction and this journey. Thank you all for rocking with me. I am so pumped about 1,000 subscribers. I'm pumped that I've been doing this for 6 years, but there is no show without you guys. So I appreciate you so much. Ride along with this journey, hit subscribe, comment what type of guests or people you want on this show, and just hit me up, DM me. I respond to all my DMs. Let me know if you have any questions or if you want to come on the show. Just remember, it's not that deep.